We got it working. So, Brittany, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And what better way to have a Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday evening with someone that's having a bad day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. So, welcome to the show. As I said, it is so cool and awesome to have you here. Before we start, I have to give you a proper welcome, proper intro. If you have seen some of my episodes before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. If not, that's even cool. That's even better because then I can surprise you. So let me just show you.
I feel the love.
It's gonna, you know how it goes. You know, we're still a small operation. We still have live audience, but we will have it something. I promise. There you go. So starting with everything now, tell me how your acting career started.
So I have been acting in some kind of capacity since I was a kid. You know, I would do all the church plays and the school plays and things like that. But it probably wasn't until I got to, you know, middle school and high school that I actually started to picture myself as kind of an actor, wanting to pursue that. I remember when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a teacher, and then older classmate of mine went to theater school, and I was like, you can do that? You can like go to school to just act all day? I want to do that. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going to school for musical theater performance and haven't looked back since.
I love it. That is an epic start. You know, one of the things that I find curious is that like whenever you're a kid, you'll find that passion, and it's so cool that you actually kind of have the support for you to do it. You know, because I think that for some people, it can happen too, that whenever you're a kid and you want to do something, at the end your parents will be like, he or she is just a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's where I really got lucky. My parents are sports people. They are not creative. They are not actors.
Oh, okay.
They are not musical. Like, they are not creative in the slightest. So I felt very lucky to have them. My dad is the first one to be like, tell me what your character thought in that moment. That was really crazy. And to see that.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we were lagging a little bit, but
okay.
I think we're back. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's so cool. So what were some of the challenges that you had when you originally started acting? Because I think we all have them, right? Whenever we are starting something, either acting or in sports or in whatever, whenever we're just starting, at first we just don't know what the hell we're doing, you know? So what were some of those challenges for you?
I think for me, a big hurdle that I had to overcome was just truly being open to learning. I'm sure, like a lot of other people who started acting when you were young, when you are in your school plays or when you are in your school shows, you're what they call like a big fish in a small pond, right? You're always who people think of as an actor. And so getting out into the real world and having to take a moment to kind of humble yourself and say like, oh, I don't know everything. I think that was the hardest thing for me, just to be able to reflect a little bit and say like, no, I've got a long way to go.
I love it. And starting with your career on theater, you were in Space Warp's Revenge of the Recaps, Silence the Musical, Nicholas Sparks the Musical, the Rocky Balboa picture show. That's badass, by the way. I mean, the list goes on and on. But like, tell me how you usually prepare before a play or a musical. I mean, do you have like a, let's say like a ritual, or like what is your thing in order to kind of set you off to start performing?
Yeah, I think number one is just trusting the script, right? Even silly shows like Silence the Musical and all that, like there's honesty and there's realness in all those scripts. So I think really trusting in that. And then I really like getting into the physical characters. I think doing something with your body, or does this person have like a weird tick, like maybe they play with their nails or they play with their hair or they do something with their mouth funny. I think just finding those little things, and even if you don't end up doing it on stage, but just finding those little things that help you really feel like, okay, I'm this person now.
Okay. And now that you mentioned that, tell me, what are some of the things that you do in order to prepare a character? Now, I understand, of course, that depends on the role, but like what usually makes you start to building this character you are going to play?
Yeah. So I love to start with facts. So I actually I have like a little book that I write everything in. I like to take really meticulous notes when I'm preparing a character. And I feel like I always like to start with the facts. What does the script tell me about this particular character? And then what are the other things that I kind of need to fill in? Because no matter how good a script is, it's not going to tell you there's no way that they can tell you every single thing about a character. So it's up to us as actors to be able to say, okay, well, what are the little things that I can sprinkle in that would give some flavor to this? Like, oh, I know this person maybe went to Italy, so maybe I really like making pasta at home, and like maybe that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing, but if I can just have that knowledge in the back of my head as an actor, then that makes every single choice that I make that much more believable.
Yeah, that's true. And I find it so interesting about playing a character, the fact that you get the chance to kind of be somebody else, but at the same time it's you who's actually playing that. I mean, it's I just think that it's far more than just learn your lines and you're good to go. You know what I mean? That for some people might think.
And I think something to really be honest with yourself is there's always going to be a part of you in the character. You know, I think some people think that acting has to be this big transformation, and of course there's going to be a change. Of course you're portraying something else, but I think the most real and honest characters come through when you put a little piece of you and your heart and your soul into the character.
I agree.
Even if they're the total opposite of you.
Yeah, which I find it so interesting, because for some actors that I've interviewed, they just love playing the villains. You know, they're like, I'm a super sweet person, but I just love playing the villains. And I'm like, yeah, I can understand that. So.
Yeah, because you wouldn't just want to unlock that little part of your soul that you would never be in real life, but that's still part of you. Of that, like, I just need to unleash, and I wanna let it all out.
I love it. And some of those plays that I mentioned are also musicals. So tell me, what do you like the most about musicals?
I think the cool thing about musicals is the fact of this idea that comes along of, I need to sing because I just can't speak anymore. Like, I'm just so overcome with emotion, whether it's happy or sad or angry or love, that I'm just so overcome with that I can't do anything but sing. And I think the really special thing about musicals is, for most people I know, there's a special spot in their heart for musicals, whether they, go see them regularly or there's just one particular one that they like. And I think what I love about a lot of the musicals that I've done is that they're comedies, and a lot of people don't realize how funny a lot of music can be, or how funny a show can be when it's enhanced with a musical number. So I always really like that too.
That's so cool. You know, one of the things I have on my bucket list is to go to a musical. I have never been in a musical.
Oh yeah, gotta do it. I think it's definitely a bucket list experience. If you've never done it, you have to do it. Oh yeah. And what do you like the most about theater? And what advice could you give to those who are just recently started their acting career on theater? Absolutely. So I think for theater, the most exciting thing is that audience interaction. I don't think until you've been an actor in a theater space, that energy that the people who are sitting there watching you, what they give to you is so precious. And I've walked off stage before and felt like I'm on another planet. I'm so hyped up and I'm excited.
So
and
cool.
that energy really does feed into you. So I think that's number one, the most amazing thing about theater. And I think that if you're just starting out, you're new to theater, you haven't really experienced that before, I think the number one thing that I can give you advice is just get out there and watch it. Because, whether you're in a really big city or a really small area, there's always somebody doing something. Maybe it's not Broadway. That's okay. There's so much fantastic theater that is local and available to you, and just expose yourself to it, because it is a different style and it is very unique, and it's very different than sitting down and turning on Netflix or turning on HBO and watching a show. So if you can expose yourself to that, you will get so much knowledge just by sitting in the audience and absorbing that.
Yeah, totally. And I think one of the cool things also is that, I mean, we're kind of living in a time right now that everything is expanding. You know, like with some of the actors that I interviewed, they tell me that one of the cool things is that if you want to be an actor, you don't have to live in LA or New York. You know, it's like everything is starting to expand and to go to different cities here and there, which it is also cool because it gives the opportunity to more people to see that as something that they can do, instead of this idea that a lot of people think that if you want to be an actor, you need to go to LA. If you want to be an actor on theater, go to New York, Broadway, all of that. You know, so it's so interesting, the fact that now everything is started to like go to more basically expanding. You know. So.
Yeah. And what I always like to say is there is performance opportunities everywhere. You know, whether you're so I'm based in Chicago, there's performance opportunities here. Whether you're in a really small city in like, you know, Iowa or Florida or Canada or Mexico or wherever you might be, there's opportunities everywhere. But it's about, you know, putting yourself in a position where you can find those opportunities, where you can seek out like-minded creative individuals. And sometimes it's also about saying, there's not an opportunity, so I'm going to make one.
There you go. I love it. That's how it all started here.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I love it. And moving on with your performances on film, tell me, what are some of the differences that you noticed that first time you were on a film set of being on stage, that you noticed like, interesting?
Yeah, it's definitely a different beast. And as somebody who went to school like for theater performance, there's a lot of things that they drill into you that are like huge no-nos or very, very different about being on a film set. But I think outside of just like the performance aspect, I think the biggest adjustment for me was just the time. When you are doing a play or a musical, you're spending weeks, if not months, leading up to that performance. To rehearse, to find the nuances of your character, to play around, to explore with the director, with the other actors, and then you turn around and perform that show for 6 performances, 8 performances, 20 performances, 50 performances maybe. So there's so much time that goes into kind of this labor of love. And for a lot of film acting, you show up, you're lucky to get a single rehearsal. They say, here's your mark right here, stand there, say the line. Okay, we're moving the camera, say it again the exact same way. Great, we're moving on. And I think that was the biggest like shock for me, of just like, oh, okay, so there is this like weird like urgency to just like hurry up and go in a lot of the film stuff that I've done.
So cool. Now, some of those projects that you have been in are The Marriage Pact, Coffee in Limbo, In the Shadows, Peach on Earth. Again, the list goes on. I mean, you're basically killing it here. But like, tell me, what do you think it's an important aspect for storytelling?
So I think the biggest and most important thing that you can bring as an actor to a story is just honesty. I think we touched on this a little bit before, but you know, even in the silliest of stories, like for example, Peach on Earth, which I did during the pandemic, is a Mario show, basically. It's like Nintendo, it's Zelda, it's Mario, it's Princess Peach, it's Donkey Kong. And even though it's this wild, fantastical concept, there's still real, honest emotion in it. There's still a reason why we want to draw people in. And so I think even if you're playing a villain, even if you're playing somebody who's the complete opposite of you are, bringing that honesty and bringing that truth, I think is the most important thing that you can do as a storyteller, because that gives the audience a sense of like, hey, trust me, I'm going to shepherd you in this and come along on this journey with me.
So cool. And what has been some of the highlight moments on your acting career at the moment?
So I was very fortunate enough at the end of 2021, I found out I won the Best Performer in a Musical at the BroadwayWorld.com Regional Theater Awards, which was very fantastic. I originated a character for a brand new world premiere of a musical that we performed at the Toll Theater, and that was so much fun. It was such an honor to just be nominated, to have the opportunity to get on stage and to do those sort of things, and then to actually turn around and win was really fantastic. Especially after I think everyone had a hard 2020, 2021. So the fact that kind of was a nice little cherry at the end of the year felt really good.
I love it. And you know, because of that, if someone would ask me what do I think about your career, I would say this. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
I love it. It's really cool. And what are some of the things that you enjoy the most about your acting career at this point?
I think I am fortunate to be on a really great precipice of a lot of exciting things kind of coming up. I haven't always had the easiest time being an actor, and I think sometimes actors will say like, oh yeah, I've always done this and it's always been easy, and you know, even when it's easy, it's still tough. Like, this is a tough career. This is it's emotionally vulnerable, and it's really exhausting sometimes because there is a lot of struggles. So I think more than anything, just the fact that I am at a point where I've got some new representation. I am going on some really exciting auditions, and you know, sometimes you just have to take those moments to celebrate and say like, okay, yeah, you know, I've got some projects coming up down the line, and that is exactly where I need to be in this moment.
I love it. Now, if you could describe a film in which all of the characters you have played at the moment will gather for a party, what would be the name of that film?
Okay, I'll say, like, I am all about kind of this concept of like this eat, pray, love, but I'm gonna call it eat, act, love, because I feel like all these characters, they're coming together, they're all weird. So the biggest, you know, thing that you can do is pull people together with food. We're all gonna act real crazy together, but then there's also so much love in that room.
I like it. Okay. If you could describe your career at the moment on a movie, a TV show, book, or even a play, why not? Or even a musical as well. Yeah, let's put that as well. What would be the title of it?
I think Sunshine Daydreams, because I'm a big dreamer, and I think that just being able to take a moment, and you know that feeling that you get when you feel the warmth on your skin from the sun of just like, oh, this is just simple bliss. Like, that's what I want to capture.
Okay. So amazing. If you could describe your career again, but this time on a drink, which one would you pick?
I like a nice bubbly glass of rosé. And I think that's a little bit like my career, right? I'm not going to be everyone's taste, and that's okay. But I'm a little bubbly, I'm a little fun, I'm a little sweet. And if you give me a try, I think you might just like me.
I like that. And if you drink too much, you're just going to lose it.
Exactly. Just sleep it off.
There you go. I love it. Now, my next question here is, if you could describe with 5 words the rest of your life, how would you do it?
I would say passion. I would say ambition. I would say love. I would say family. And I would say adventure.
It's like that. Yeah. You know, it looks like we're having a very cool project going on, you know, maybe, you know, with your yeah, I like that. It's really cool. I love it. Now, what motivates you? I mean, we all have those days, right? In which we just want to quit, you know? Yeah. We think that, that is not cut it. I mean, that probably we have wasted our time, especially when you're about to reach 30 and you see most of your friends going, you know, with, like having like more stuff, you know, like their own house, their own businesses or whatever. So, getting inside to all of these toxic thoughts is super easy. I mean, I would call it like the toxic bubble, you know. But like, what gets you out of it? You know, what just gets you out of this toxic bubble, and just to continue following your passion?
Yeah, I think that this was a really hard lesson for me because after I left theater school, I did have a lot of friends who were like just having great success. They were getting cast on films or in TV shows, or they were doing Broadway and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, why not me? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough to do that? Why am I not good enough to get those roles? And I think the biggest lesson for me was just saying, it's not about me. There's so much about this career and just life in general that's out of your control. There is so much that you can't control. So I think for me, it's about saying, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about the characters. I am passionate about telling a story. So let me focus on that. And when I kind of simple it down and bring it back to those basics, that's when I go, oh, hell yeah, I love this so much. I love surrounding myself with like-minded people. I love surrounding myself with performance and with creativity. And just because one of my friends is experiencing success, that doesn't have anything to do with the success that I have in store for me in the future.
Totally. Wow. You know what? One of the things that I do love the most about interviewing actors is that, and I have said that before to some of the people that I've interviewed, is that the fact that I see actors of kind of the superheroes of this thing that we call life, because at the end of the day, I mean, you basically go through hell, I mean, you will go through millions of auditions, through a lot of hard moments here and there, to having to find like a part-time job in order for you to continue pursuing your acting career. But in order for you to do that, you will have to find like a job in a restaurant or a bar, or like things like that. So I get that like that difficulty. But what I find it so interesting is that when it's time to perform, you guys manage to give your best performance to us, the audience. And I think that is something amazing, that regardless of how difficult or how sad or like how difficult your personal life is at that moment, when it's time to perform, it's like you put that away in order to give us something to laugh, something to cry, like taking us to this journey with you. And I think that is so amazing, basically.
And that's so kind of you to say. I don't know if we're superheroes, but there is certainly, this is a tough business. Like, if anyone is saying like, oh yeah, it's easy to be an actor, like they're lying to you. This is very difficult, and the most difficult part of it is the business, right? It's not just about, I'm going to show up on stage and perform and that's it, and I'm going to go home. The business of being an actor is the business of auditioning and putting your heart out there, every single day, every single week, every single month. And, if you're lucky, hearing a rejection, but most of the time you're just kind of throwing pasta at the wall and seeing what sticks. So, I think it's certainly what keeps me going. And I know it's what keeps a lot of actors going, is the fact that, people like you say something like that, of just the people who come up to me and say, thank you for sharing that with me. It warms my heart in such a way that I've never experienced before.
Yeah, I like that. Because without you guys, everything would be just great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. Now, my last question here is, what are you up to lately, and what can we expect from you soon?
Absolutely. So I have just had a really, really crazy year. My 2021 was probably one of the busiest that I've had. I filmed several shorts. I went on tons of auditions. I was in 4 different plays or musicals in the course of just like the 6 months at the end of the year when life started to resume. So it was a really, really busy year for me. So I'm having a little bit of like imposter syndrome of like, oh my God, I'm only auditioning right now. Like, is that okay? But I just got some new representation. I have been going on some really, really fantastic, exciting auditions that I'm really hopeful for. I am partnering with the person who helped me write and produce The Marriage Pact. We are partnering up in writing another short right now that we are hoping to have come out this summer. So a lot of fun things in store, and I'm just really excited for the year ahead.
I love it. I mean, Brittany, sorry. You know how cables go. I mean.
Oh yeah.
You can't have a show with some technical difficulties here. You know what I mean. Anyway, so what I was gonna say here is that is so cool what you do. I mean, I can't wait to see more of your awesome career in the future. I'm super sure that eventually we're gonna hear you and see you basically everywhere because you are doing. I mean, the fact that you're doing it because you love it, as simple as it sounds, I do understand how difficult it is, and it can take a lifetime to find something that you just love to do. So the fact that you're doing it and you are actually, and you're actually killing it here, that is amazing. I can't wait to see more of your awesome job in the future. And before I send you off, first I have to say one thing. Also, thank you so much for those who are watching this right now, or if you're watching this later, either here on Instagram or YouTube, or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure that you follow Brittany on all social media. If you already do, fantastic. What we're gonna do now is that we're gonna make her viral. We're gonna make sure everybody knows about this amazing, talented actor right now. I mean, let's leave a million likes here. Let's tag HBO, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, and several other streaming services here and there because she rocks. And now, before I send you off, I need to send you off properly again. So.
Thanks so much, Dan. It was such a pleasure talking to you. It's so nice to just talk with people who are excited about talking about stuff like this. So thanks for inviting me. And, I really look forward to hearing, hopefully, some of your feedback. We'd love to feel free to, I think, comment.
Yeah. Make sure. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. It was like a little bit again, but yeah. Make sure also that you're leaving a lot of comments. I'm gonna also leave all of Brittany's social media in the description below. That's so cool when I do this because it appears and so that's so cool. And again, Brittany, thank you so much. Again, it's been an epic evening. Keep killing it. I can't wait to do another episode with you in the future. Keeping amazing. Have an amazing rest of the week. An amazing upcoming weekend. When it's time for the weekend. And I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks so much. Thanks all.
All right. Bye.
Bye.